Many of us have asked, can a small business like mine really help solve the world's greatest problems? We're creatives, builders, shop owners, designers, athletes, entrepreneurs, with teams of 10, 50, 200 people, not policymakers or global nonprofits. So it's easy to believe the lie that big problems like injustice, trafficking, or poverty are someone else's job. Believing that lie can lead us to miss the invitation to participate in God's redemptive work. Because the truth is, small businesses have something powerful: proximity, purpose, people who care deeply. We don't need to be massive to make a big impact, to move with what we have, right where we are.
FOS started as a hobby, me building websites and logos on the side. It was me helping my church for free to build their first ever decent website. The question of how would faith integrate into the company has always been integral to who we are and who we wanted to become. When I first started the company, I remember it was a very simple question. Will there be the word Jesus anywhere on this website? My wife and I decided no. We would just create a product that was so excellent that we would give honor to the Lord in the middle of that product. For us, this integration of faith has been a journey of learning how God wanted to use FOS, use us, use our platform, use our resources, use our voice to do something greater than just an excellent product or service offered to the world. I think the first time where this ever became real was the first person that I ever hired. And for him, all I wanted to do was create a great work environment. I wanted him at some point, unprompted by me, to come to me and say, this is the best job that I've ever had. There came a moment in that employee's career where he did come to me and say, this is the best job that I've ever had. And I think it was that moment where I realized I could actually create something here at FOS that was more than just a great product or service. It could be a place that actually blessed people. I think that was the start of what ministry looked like. Now, 24 people on the team. Our mission is to cultivate true flourishing in people and organizations while reflecting the love of Jesus to the world.
I think it's not just business, and it's not just spreadsheets, and it's not just profit and loss statements, it's people. Your business could be a place of healing, a place of wellness, a place where trauma is healed inside of an organization.
One of our neighbors in our studio in Gainesville was a Christian radio, and they came to me at one point and said, hey, we've got some free tickets to a Matthew West concert down in Ocala. Do you want them? I said yes, brought an employee down with us, and in the middle of this concert, he shared about Compassion International. I want to be a part of this. I'll say yes to this one child. And so as I went that night and said, I'm going to sponsor this kid, I handed them FOS's credit card. And over the next few months, those credit card statements came in, and I had to figure out, how am I going to categorize this? And putting that into charitable contributions, there was a moment each month as I did that where I realized I'm able to pay this bill because I have money in this account. But a small shift in my thinking, I have money in this account so that I can pay this bill, was the beginning of understanding stewardship for me. I made a commitment with the new stewardship mindset in place that if God's going to grow the company, we're going to grow our impact as a company. We started this journey of saying, hey, we want to have one child sponsored for every single person that we have on our team at FOS. And over the next few years, we grew to that, where we would have our team members fill out together. We would write letters and draw pictures and send them out to those kids around the world. And at some point, we began to think, maybe there's something bigger that we could be a part of.
Most Americans are not aware that we are one of the largest markets for trafficking.
Human trafficking is occurring in pretty much every community. In almost every city, you would be within a mile of a place where somebody's being sold for sex.
I knew nothing about sex trafficking. I thought, well, yeah, I think that happens overseas, Asia, Africa. There's horrible places where that happens. No, it happens here, Brandon. Florida is number 3 in the United States for the most amount of sex trafficking cases in this country. The average age of entry for sex trafficking in Gainesville is 13 years old. extreme poverty and sex trafficking go hand in hand. If someone is in extreme poverty, somebody can walk in and say, hey, I have an opportunity. Come work for me over here. I'll give you a job, not knowing what they're saying yes to. And I thought, this doesn't happen. I know this city. I've been here for years. This doesn't happen in this city. And I'm thinking, maybe I'm just walking around with blinders, where there's brokenness all around me, but I just can't see it because all I'm focusing on is my brokenness, my life, my hardships, my struggles. And God did a process in my life of taking off those blinders and helping me see brokenness right here in this community, but then also around the world that we can be a part of as a company. And I told my executive team at a strategic planning offsite, what if God might be calling us to start the first ever sex trafficking safe house that North Central Florida has ever seen? And they laughed at me, visionaries going vision, and they wrote it down on a piece of paper. And then a year later, we were able to be a part of that story. Within a month, all of those beds were full. And within a few months, women were graduating from that program. And I remember thinking to myself, what other God-sized dreams might I be sleeping on in my leadership? A care center costs about $44,000 to spin up, and it provides for all of the needs for those children, including all of the sponsorship fees for the first 6 months. And so we reset the goal. We want to launch 5 care centers around the world that care for women and children impacted by extreme poverty and sex trafficking. A year later, we'd already launched 3 more. I was like, we need to dream even bigger. We set this big goal, 30 care centers around the world that we want to launch by 2030. 2 weeks ago, we celebrated the launch of our 37th care center in 18 countries, serving over 5,300 children. At FOS, in our front lobby, we have this really cool light wall. 10 feet wide, 5 foot tall, couple inches deep, has 267 light bulb sockets in it. And every single time that a mission moment happens at FOS, we gather the whole team in the lobby and we come together and turn on one of those light bulbs. Whoever was most closely connected to that comes up, turns it on, we clap, shout, celebrate, and there's a journal that sits beneath it, and that person comes and signs the date that the bulb was turned on, the bulb number, and then what that mission moment was that helps us celebrate together as the team. Your work matters.
And when you see those lights on that board, it is a visual picture of battles being fought in a larger war against darkness. And I love so much of Brandon's story is he said, I want to lead a team that's going to be better at caring for each other, but I don't want to stop there. The world is too dark. We need to join the fight. I think one of the greatest things we can do as faith-driven entrepreneurs is to invite our teams into the battle.
I think when we get something from the Lord, a mission that's worth chasing, I think that we also have an opportunity to share that mission with other people. A few years ago, the Lord reminded me, I have not called you to be the hero of every story. Invite my people into the things that I've given you. And so we've started to share this mission with the world. We started a donor-advised fund through the National Christian Foundation, and we've gone to our friends and partners, even our competitors, and gone, here's what we're doing. Do you want to hop in on this? And we've seen leaders around the world raise their hands. And these last 15 care centers that we launched, we didn't have any dollars on hand to give towards them. It's just our other partners and friends saying, we want to be a part of what God's doing. Can we get in?
There's a moment that we're stepping into those faith-driven entrepreneurs saying, what else? What more could we do outside the walls? And we want to do things together. As entrepreneurs, we feel alone and isolated, and yet we see the power of coming together. And I love that about Brandon's story, that even those entrepreneurs he might compete with, he said there's a bigger thing at stake. There's something more for us to come together around. And starting this giving fund is really such a powerful, tangible way for us to get in the game together.
For us, when the blinders come off and we start to realize that there is brokenness in our people, in our community, and around the world, it's tempting to be overwhelmed by that and just say, what good can I do? Somebody once told me, do for the one what you wish you could do for the many. Do for the one person what you wish you could do for the many. I think for us, as we journey towards faithfulness in our leadership and in our entrepreneurship, we're just trying to say yes to the things that the Lord brings our way. Not to see every problem as ours to solve, but going, hey God, where do you want me to get involved here? And as we say yes, at some point, we get to look back on a ton of cool impact that we've had and gone, hey God, where might you have me sow again? What things have brought joy to me, blessing to the people that we serve, and engagement to the team who's a part of making all of this happen? And we get to go, I'm gonna reinvest into this field where I've already sown a harvest in the past. And maybe God would help me go back and do that again.